So far in my videos, I've been focusing on how the new narrative depends on science and how the old narrative is based on religion. But that doesn't mean that the new narrative is the opposite of religion. Dr. King played a huge part in changing our national narrative from what it was to what it's becoming, and he was a religious leader. The problem isn't religion. The problem is people being unwilling to expand their horizons to keep up with humanity's growing understanding of the world. The new narrative we're looking for is one that includes everyone from the start. That all by itself makes it different from a religious narrative because every religious narrative is a story about that religion. The new narrative is a story of everyone, which means it's a story of every religion. The one thing that every religion is guaranteed to have in common is that people believe in it. So the only way to tell a story of the world that includes every religion is to start with the people who believe in them. That makes a lot of religious people feel like the new narrative can't be right because it makes their religion sound a lot less important than they feel it should be. I've met a lot of other religious people who don't have a problem with that at all. A story that includes every religion is a story about something much bigger than any one religion. For us to talk about different religions like Christianity and Hinduism is kind of interesting because it tells us something about the time and place where those religions began and what the people there felt they needed in life. But there's another way of looking at religion in the present day that's a lot more direct. Every religion has the same few interpretations. When someone asks, "What do you believe in?" telling them the name of a religion doesn't really tell them anything because it doesn't tell them how you interpret that religion. Do you believe in the God of feeling like you're better than everyone else? Do you believe in the God of feeling like you already know everything important? Do you believe in the God of feeling sorry for yourself? Do you believe in the God of giving up? Any of those four interpretations are the kind that make people stop expanding their mental horizons because they don't feel like they need to. Or do you believe in the God of working hard and not giving up? That's the one Dr. King believed in. That's the one Malcolm X believed in too, even though they called them different things. That's the kind of belief that creates a legacy that people of future generations can keep adding to and keep your life's work moving forward after you're dead. If you choose dogma and ignorance now, there's no way for anyone to improve upon that and make your dogma and ignorance even more useful in the future. That right there is the difference between the new narrative and the old narrative. People who are creating the new narrative are doing it from different starting points and have different reasons for wanting to do it. Some people, like me, have the choice to be part of the old narrative, and we can see from the inside that it isn't good enough. Because we ask questions like, what does it mean for a God to be all-powerful? Would an all-powerful God be able to create a rock today that was so hard he wouldn't be able to smash it tomorrow? Or would he not be able to create a rock that was so hard he couldn't smash it tomorrow? Either way, there's something he can't do, so he can't be all-powerful. How are people supposed to use conflicting ideas like those to make good decisions in life? And how is a group of people supposed to use conflicting ideas to work together? And what does God creating man in his image mean? There are a lot of different looking men in the world. Some men are 3 feet tall and some men are 8 feet tall. Some men weigh 100 pounds and some weigh 800 pounds. How does a God look like all of us at once? It's pretty obvious which men Michelangelo had in mind when he painted the Sistine Chapel. Some of us see a lot of things like that happening in the old narrative, which is why we feel like we need to do better. There are a lot of other people who are looking for the new narrative who don't notice things like that or don't care about them. One good way to work hard and not give up is to get a lot of people on your side. I know enough about my family history to know that none of my ancestors are from the Middle East, so I don't feel like stories about people from the Middle East are my history. But other people can't follow their family histories back that far. If you want to get a feeling of who your ancestors were and you only know about one story about people who lived that long ago, you'll find a way to interpret that story to mean your ancestors were there. And if a group of people all want the same thing you do, you can all do that together, and that will give you a shared sense of identity, even if nobody else can understand what you're talking about. We all have these powerful feelings that motivate our decisions in life, but none of us can see where they came from. Religions have explanations for them. If that's the only explanation you've heard of, or that your group of people has heard of, then you'll find a way to fit yourselves into that narrative. But as it turns out, those powerful feelings are bigger than any one religion because the people in every religion have the same basic feelings. That means they're instincts that evolved along with our species. People have always lived in groups, and all the other primates live in groups. Our sense of responsibility to other people is part of our group living instinct. If we didn't feel a sense of responsibility to other people, we wouldn't be able to function as groups, and our ancestors would have killed each other or gotten eaten by lions one by one a long time ago. Most people in the US are Christians, and most people in the world are religious. But science keeps moving forward, and here in the US we keep talking about our different ideas. In a lot of ways, social media has turned into one big powwow where people are realizing that the foundation of politics is people saying what they have to say and deciding whether or not they can be friends. Even though in other ways, social media is making people more xenophobic because it makes it easier for people to connect with people who are saying things they want to hear and to not have to think about what the people they disagree with are saying. I've met a lot of science people who are working on the science narrative, and I've met a lot of religious people who are working toward the new narrative in other ways. Black people are the most religious racial demographic in the US by far, and black women are one of the most highly educated demographics in the US. So what does the science narrative say we're supposed to do about that? If you equate success with winning, there is no good answer to that question. But that's the big difference between the old narrative and the new narrative. The new narrative doesn't need to win against things like that. Out of everyone who's working toward the new narrative from all of our different backgrounds, we agree on a lot of ideas, and a lot of our other ideas are compatible, even if the words we use for our ideas make them sound like they aren't compatible. We aren't trying to win against each other, we're trying to work together. If we can work together now, we can create a good learning environment for all of our children and grandchildren, where they can all grow up surrounded by all of our ideas. They'll figure out how to put our combined ideas into words better than we can. That's how narratives evolve. The new ideas of this generation turn into the ordinary ideas of the next generation. I've got lots more to talk about, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more videos.